Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Investment firm Lighthouse Canton has officially closed the LC Neuva Alternate Investment Fund, a venture under Lumineer Investment Trust, securing a substantial corpus of 350 crore rupees. Now, the LC Neuva AIF specializes in supporting early-stage companies within the realms of health tech, consumer tech, fintech, and education tech. Joining us now to discuss the fund's investment thesis and more is Sohil Chand, the founding partner and CIO of LC Neuva AIF. Sohil, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. Like I just said, you've closed your fund at about 350 crore rupees. So what's your investment thesis and how are you looking at the India opportunity currently?
Yeah, so our view is India is one of the most attractive markets in the world to be investing in the early stage. There's not a lot of institutionalized competition in the early stage part of the market that we are focused on, which is the $1 million investment check size. And what we're looking to do is invest in fast-growing businesses. Here, we've already made 31 investments, and we'll probably end the fund with about 35 investments, and we're reserving capital for follow-ons as well. These, as you mentioned, are across a range of sectors. So there's consumer, there's fintech, education, healthcare, etc.
All right, we're going to delve deep into that a little bit more, but you said you've already made 31 investments. And as you just mentioned, you're going to deploy about half of the corpus in building the portfolio and the other half for follow-on rounds. So what are the companies that you have invested in? Which is the sector that you're seeing most of your investments going to? And what was the ticket size of these investments?
Sure. So the sector we've invested most capital in so far is fintech, financial services. We have in this space companies like Revfin, which is the largest EV financing company in India. It's relatively new, and we were an early investor there last year. We've invested in HomeWill, which is building a very interesting online mortgage platform. We are in CreditFair, which is doing sort of traditional lending, but online. So we're seeing a lot of businesses like this, and we'll invest more in this space. We've also got investments in the consumer space, in B2B platforms. We're in a company called Nueva Lifestyle that we're very excited about, which does workwear apparels, growing crazily fast. In consumer, we have an investment in a business called Tanvi Beverages, which is doing soft drinks for urban and rural markets. So these are sort of some of the investments we're investing in the flavor. Our average check size for the first investment is about 5 crores. And over the life of the investment, we want to have 10 to 15 crore per company.
Have you already identified those last 3 to 4 companies that you're going to invest in? Any sector that's outside these 4?
Yeah, we have actually got term sheets out there, and they are in all these sectors. So one consumer business, one and 2 financial services businesses, one in insurance and one on the lending side.
All right, so you've stuck to these 4 themes because ideally your fund is sector agnostic, is what you've said. But these 4 are the top sectors on your radar. So what's the opportunity you see here, and why are you betting big on these 4 sectors?
So one of our financial services, as I said, has been our #1 pick, and we think just India is an incredibly underpenetrated market from the point of view of credit, with sort of improved technological solutions to assess credit, which can be done online and through alternate credit scoring mechanisms. We think there's a large opportunity to build scaled-up players in this space. Financial services also is one sector in which we've seen extremely good founding teams, sort of the right educational background, right sort of professionalism of the teams, and they are businesses that scale relatively fast. The downside is they do need constant capital raising, but the businesses can get to profitability with the money we put into them, and then subsequent rounds of capital are for growth. Consumer has been sort of a big investment theme in India generally. But it's quite hard for direct-to-consumer online businesses to make money. So we've been pretty picky about what we've done in that space. We see a big opportunity in B2B platforms, and we've made 3-4 bets there as well, including Nona Lifestyle that I mentioned earlier.
All right. So in the last 7 years, the AIF investments in India have seen a tenfold jump. Now, you have assets under administration of nearly like 7 lakh crore rupees. So talk to us about the returns you're seeing and the potential you see for the fund. What about exits at this point?
So it's a little early to talk exits because we've only been deploying capital for a year. Our first close was exactly a year ago. But we are very focused on exits, and part of our strategy is because we come in relatively early. We are looking to exit into subsequent institutional rounds and not necessarily wait for IPOs or strategic events in these companies. So we see our exits happening in a phased manner starting from year three of our investments onwards. In terms of returns, we are targeting at a fund level, we are targeting about a 4x, 3 to 4x. So on any individual deal, we target 5x plus in the expectation that some of the deals will obviously not perform.
Right. I have to ask you, artificial intelligence is now the big buzzword. Are you looking at making investments in this space? How big of an opportunity is AI and generative AI at this point?
So AI is a huge opportunity, but it's a huge opportunity globally. I can't profess to be an expert on what's going on in India in the AI space, but I think it's one where we'll be a little bit cautious to start with because we do want to benchmark what's the Indian companies against what their global peers are doing. So it's probably not something we would do from this fund, but definitely we are starting to see interesting companies in this space and keeping an eye out probably for our next fund.
All right, keeping an eye out for your next fund. All right, Sohil, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Well,